Hey, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. I did a master's degree and looking back, I am really happy that I ended up doing so. So let me explain to you why I think that doing a master's degree is absolutely worth it. I do want to start with a slight tiny disclaimer. Obviously, a master's is not for everyone. Not everyone wants or needs to do a master's degree, and that is totally okay too. Like, you're 100% definitely not a lesser person or anything along those lines if you have not done a master's degree. I just want to state that clearly before going into this video. Let's get into it. So first of all, the elephant in the room. You get another year of student life, and I know that might sound a bit exhausting, especially after just finishing your undergraduate degree, thinking about the fact that you just spent 3 or 4 years in the same place and you're kind of done with it and over with it. However, looking back at my student life and my student experiences that I've had, it was definitely a one-in-a-kind type of experience and I really enjoyed it. And in all fairness, I'm not saying that you should only do a master's degree or go to uni for the experience. That's definitely not what I mean. I just mean that the experience is a big part of attending uni. I just get to do that for an extra year, and at the same time you can postpone that adulting a little bit. So number 2, on that same note of adulting, if you're not quite sure what you want to do after uni, a master's is a great way to just give yourself a bit more time to think and figure out what your next step will be. You definitely don't need to be like set on a PhD to go into a master's degree. You can definitely use it to widen and deepen your understanding of a certain aspect of your studies that you enjoy, and you don't have to necessarily go into a PhD afterwards. So building off that point, so let's say you're in your undergraduate degree in your final year and you still don't know for sure what you really want to do in terms of a job or in terms of just a job versus a master's degree. You can apply to both. It's not like a restriction or anything like that. You can definitely apply to jobs and to master's degrees and essentially decide, may the best offer win. Because in the end, I do feel like that if the jobs didn't quite work out and you'll end up with a gap on your resume, it's probably better to have a master's degree in there instead of like the gap. But either way, like, up to you. Just remember that you can apply to both, because sometimes we do seem to forget that. So number 4, doing a master's degree will give you the opportunity to go and explore a different uni. So besides the fact that you probably have been stuck in the same place for quite a while and that you're in for a little adventure, you'll probably find that the specialization that you're looking into for your master's degree might not even be offered by the uni that you're currently at. Masters are quite specific, and honestly, finding the best fit for a master's degree for you is more important than staying at the same uni that you've been at previously for your undergrad. So number 5, on that little exploration note, you can use your master's to go abroad. A master's degree, generally speaking, is just 1 or 2 years, so you won't be away for that long of a time. And maybe during your undergraduate degree, your degree didn't offer you the possibility to go abroad and you feel like you might have missed out on that experience. So a master's degree is a great opportunity to explore the world. Number 6, if you fancy moving to Europe in the future, and I mean continental Europe, you might find that having a master's is actually more of a must. It is very common in European countries to have similar job positions that will require a master's degree, while in the UK or in the US they will only require a bachelor's degree. It's very much a cultural thing, but it is something to keep in mind. So number 7, the other elephant in the room. Masters are expensive. You'll be adding on a year extra in terms of loans while you already have probably loans from your undergraduate degree, and that's not great, and I agree with you. However, it might be worth to check your little continental Europe friends, because tuition fees will definitely vary based on different countries, different programs, and also might be a bit of a controversial one because for us Europeans, going to the States is often seen as incredibly expensive. However, you might find that there's some interesting scholarship possibilities in the US. 8, the obvious. You'll be able to focus on something that truly interests you during your master's degree. Most masters are incredibly specialized, and different unis offer different like niche specialization type little bits and bobs on your degree, which makes no master the same. So effectively, like I said earlier, really do choose the master that fits what you want to research the best. And being able to deep dive into a specialized bit of the subject that you really enjoy doing and what you really think is interesting is effectively a lot of fun. It's way much more fun than doing an undergraduate degree and being stuck with some modules that really aren't of your interest. 9, maybe a bit of a weird point, but it's something that I ran into. I found that if you're moving to a different country, it is actually helpful to have a degree from that particular country. Foreign degrees and transcripts and diplomas, they are such a hassle to deal with. having a degree from the country that you want to live permanently in makes things so much easier in terms of finding a job, for example, because those companies will recognize the degrees that are coming from their own country. So they'll sort of know where you stack up, if that makes sense. While I've found, unfortunately, in my application process to loads and loads of companies, that some companies really didn't bother trying to understand any of my foreign credentials, and therefore I really didn't compete in the mix, if that makes sense. They essentially just don't have the time to figure it out, and it is quite a shame. So having a degree from a country that you're actively wanting to live in is actually quite helpful. Number 10, last one. So similarly, in terms of the job search, if you are wanting to go into very specific industries such as investment banking or law, you might want to figure out what these companies' target universities are in terms of hiring students after they finish uni. Lots of very, very competitive companies in terms of getting a job there. They only hire from particular universities within the UK, which tend to be the top universities, such as like Oxbridge, LSE, Imperial, UCL, LBS, etc., you name it. So if you are wanting to go into like these competitive areas such as investment banking and law, and you didn't go to one of their target schools, you might want to consider try getting into the target schools to do a master's there so that you're in that batch of applicants, if that makes sense. So essentially to increase your chances of getting hired for your dream job. Essentially, I believe that is loads of pros in doing a master's, from standing out on a job market to gaining a possible abroad experience, or just taking some extra time on figuring out what you actually want to do with the rest of your life. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.